Hi, this is Sensei James Leonelli from Sensei's Weekly Mindset, and I'm here to talk to you about betonline.net. Betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer, and esports. Don't forget my personal favorite, MMA. We've got it all on betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, we can help you find those on BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. And don't forget BetOnline for NHL, boxing, golf, and like I said, my personal favorite, the sport of MMA. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Life isn't always easy, and you don't have to face it alone. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of needs. To get started, you simply answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's most convenient for you. The best part is, if your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price, all from the comfort at home. To start your journey and to get 10% off of your first month, go to betterhelp.com/sensei. That's betterhelp.com/sensei. BetterHelp, you deserve to be happy. Hi guys, Sensei James Leonelli here to talk to you about another one of our sponsors, LMNT. An electrolyte drink mix. Each one of these little packets gives you exactly what you need to keep you as hydrated as all us athletes like to be. If you're like me, you work out a lot, and when you work out a lot, you also sweat a lot. Now, when we sweat, we don't lose just water, of course. We also sweat out salt. We sweat out electrolytes. So each one of these packets contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, giving you everything that you need in order to maintain optimal hydration and nothing that you don't. So to go online, place an order for your sample pack, and to get yourself a bonus free sample pack, you're going to go to this website right here, elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. You're going to see this down in the video below, but I'll say it one more time for you. elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. Again, it's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sensei's Weekly Mindset. I'm Sensei James Leonelli, owner and head instructor of Tiger Schulman's here in Smithtown. Once again, I am back in my home recording space, ready to give you guys this week's food for thought. As we do, you see I'm back to wearing my white shirt from the 40th anniversary collection. Again, one that I absolutely love. It's got an awesome picture of Tiger and Shihan Schulman from a great many years ago on the back. So definitely check it out. Go to tiegear.com to get yours and also check out the new Street Style collection, which is another awesome collection of apparel that Tie Gear has put out of late. So as we are going through it today, and as we're seeking today's mindset for motivation, I was reminded recently of one of my favorite quotes, and honestly, I've done an entire episode on this quote previously, but I want to get back to it again because it hit so hard, and I want to use it and kind of mold it to some of the other things that I've seen, right? Like there's the old adage, right? Everybody's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. And I saw recently Nick Newell, MMA legend, I think we can call him, man born a congenital amputee with no arm on one, no hand on one side, fought to the championship of World Series of Fighting, among many other high-level things. But nonetheless, he shared the meme the other day, and it was, everybody's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So attack them right away so that they're fighting two battles. Which, again, funny joke, of course. But it reinforces the idea that everybody is, battling something. And, earlier today, I got some news about a friend of mine who is dealing with something very challenging. And I don't want to go into his business too much and the circumstances thereof. But the good thing about things like that, when you hear in a little bit of a Schadenfreude kind of way, when you hear about somebody else's tragedy, it almost makes the stuff you're going through in that moment look a little easier by comparison, right? And one thing in life that we often do is we look at the challenges in front of us, at the cards being dealt to us at that day, at that moment, and we really think about how those are affecting our lives and how bad that is, and so on and so forth. And we really get lost in that challenge. And the thing that we lose sight of is that today's challenge is tomorrow's strength. So, bringing back to one of my favorite quotes, we should not ask for a lighter burden, but instead for broader shoulders, right? So again, the quote is, ask not for a lighter burden, but instead for broader shoulders. In other words, to ask to not go through the challenge or the trauma or whatever the case may be of today is to deny yourself the strength that comes from going through it. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of challenges we'd all like to not go through that life deals our way. But the challenges like that, we can't do anything about, right? When life deals you loss or disease or, some other horrible kind of accident, that's life in a nutshell. That's a game of chance. There's absolutely nothing you can do to choose that or make that happen or not happen, right? All that you can choose is how you endure, right? There are some people who you see endure a challenge and their strength that they build coming through it is mind-boggling. It blows people away. They can't wrap their head around just how big of a thought, of a strength gain they were actually capable of when push came to shove. And then there are others who face that same challenge and they wilt under the pressure and it crushes them, right? I'm sure you've seen plenty of people in your life who are ill in some kind of way. And some of the people who are ill, their immediate approach to life is, well, I'm ill, so. And everything in their life becomes secondary to the fact that they're ill. And all of their perceptions of themselves and everything else is wrapped up in that thought that they're ill. So they think of themselves as ill primarily instead of able primarily. And then naturally that person kind of withers, right? And on the other hand, there's the person who does the opposite. And you never even know there's anything wrong. I think of my friend Sensei Joe Curran, who went through the traumatic heart defect that we spoke about in the past, and how he overcame that for over 10 years before finally needing a heart transplant. And, you think about a gentleman like that who was going to his school and staying so stoic throughout all that time, where he just didn't let people know what was going on and so forth. And it was to the point, because people from his school would go to a local gym as well. Maybe the parents were members of this local gym, and they would go there and they would see his identical twin there. Now, Sensei stayed so stoic that people didn't even know he was a twin, let alone the fact that he had a sibling or the fact that, anything else was wrong. So while he was going through this heart defect and dealing with all these medical issues, and he was home resting in bed or in a hospital or whatever, and people knew nothing about it, people would go to that gym and they would see his twin brother there, And they would get mad, and they would think that he was hanging out in the gym instead of being in his school because he was so stoic that he never even let on that anything was wrong. And that's a challenge. That's an extraordinarily amount of challenge and strength. But life is going to deal us cards regardless, right? We can choose only how we play them, not that we get them, right? And there are some who see their cards and they immediately fold. Like, nope, done. They lay down and die, for lack of a better word. And there are others who, they get, it's poker, and they get dealt, a go to jail card for Monopoly, a 2, a 7, and like some Monopoly money, and they find a way to turn that into a winning hand because their mindset is completely different, right? And we have this ability when it comes to our normal everyday challenges pretty easily, right? In other words, what we do with our little daily challenges trains us for those bigger challenges. I was having a conversation with one of our 60-day challenge coaches, Clay Johnson, who is a professional bodybuilder, won all sorts of physique shows, very well respected in that space. And I was telling him about the workout I put myself through yesterday based on like a little bit of something he shared on social media. And I told him, I had a very limited amount of time, so I just did this. And he looked at me, he goes, you got that little bit crazy in you, don't you? And I looked at him and was like, you and me, same. Right? Because we're both the type of people who subject ourselves to challenges on the regular because we know how much more our body and our mind benefit from those challenges. And that's not what most people do, right? When we think of the average person, we think of someone with an average amount of mental strength, with an average amount of fortitude. And average is not that much anymore. Why? Because people are being more and more conditioned to, as soon as it's hard, okay, it's not for you. But that's the thing. Hard is for anybody. Anybody who wants it. Anybody who's willing to go through it. Because if you do go through the hard, if you do push yourself through the hard, the reward on the other side is incredible. It's incredible, right? A David Goggins quote, he said, it's so easy to be great these days. He goes, if you have 10% savage in you, you're going to run over most people. And it's very true. It's very true. But it starts, the way you approach these big challenges, the way you build those broader shoulders for the burdens that life throws your way. It's not just those moments, right? In psychology, there's this phrase that's very important, and it's called, it's been there before, right? In other words, we get base instincts if our brain can't say to itself, logically, I have been here before. So in other words, you're new to driving, you get in a near-miss car accident, you panic, you freeze, right? Or you see on the news someone gets in a physical altercation. They've never been in a physical altercation in their life. They've done no training whatsoever. And then they lock up. They just completely freeze like a zombie because their body has gone into panic mode. And panic mode, you get fight, flight, or freeze, and that's it. Right? And it's like a slot machine. You have no idea which one you're going to get because your body hasn't been there before. But if you've been there before, you're able to think and plan and be logical in those moments. And the same holds true for life's burdens. Right? Once again, how we handle little challenges on a day-to-day basis, we're broadening up our shoulders long before life gets us that bigger burden. Right? In other words, if you start with the small stuff, you do the simple things like when the alarm clock goes off, you get up. You don't roll over. You don't take a little nap. You don't hit the snooze bar. The alarm goes off. You hug and kiss your significant other. You get up. Right? If you do that, that is the first step towards building that 10% savage that David Goggins mentioned, to building those broader shoulders. Because that's your first challenge of the day. And challenges will continue to line up, and many of them are self-inflicted, right? Making a dietary choice. I could eat this crummy breakfast, I could eat this better breakfast. One's a little simpler, and a little more mouth pleasure, but I'll hate myself down the line. The other one's a little harder, takes a little longer, not as mouth pleasure, but I'll feel better down the line. And you got to play that balance. And again, if you win that battle, again, you're building the shoulders a little broader. And this pattern continues through each and everything that you do. And in my opinion, this is why, one of the many reasons why martial artists are high-level achievers in everything that they do. Because when you get on the mat on a regular basis and you don't take no for an answer from your body, from the position you find yourself in jiu-jitsu, from your sparring partner, from the move that you're having difficulty with, so on and so on and so on and so on. And you just don't take no for an answer. You don't settle, right? We talked last week about acceptance. You don't accept. And you push past that. What happens now is every time that your day deals you a challenge, not life in general, just your day deals you a challenge, you're already broadening those shoulders. It's your default setting. It's what you do. It's just who you are as a person. You are the person who does not take that lying down, who does not accept where they're at, who does not give in to challenge, but instead overcomes it. And then, when that becomes who you are, it's much easier to overcome the bigger challenges, for sure. Like I said, we're never going to plan them, right? We did not plan COVID and lockdowns and all that jazz. It was foisted upon all of us, right? And if you were a small business owner like myself, whose business was affected by COVID, well, this was something that you had to endure. You had no choice. Often you had no resources. Often your business was shut down. And the only way that you were able to persevere through was to have the right mindset, to be able to overcome those challenges. And many businesses, the challenges were too great. And this is not a knock on them. It just was, right? I mean, there were certain industries that were hanging, very close to the edge. Or they were even doing well, but the restrictions on them were so overnight and so drastic that they could not recover. Many other businesses failed because they didn't have the fortitude. They didn't have the mindset. They didn't have those broad shoulders to ride out that last little bit of challenge. I know so many places that shut their doors because it was simpler than finding the information as to how to reopen in a limited capacity, which is sad. I mean, that's people's dreams that are gone, all because of the hardship that wasn't even their fault. If they ran the business terribly, okay, you'd understand that. But taken away from them, that's a whole other type of sad. Right? And we see this all the time throughout life. We see people who go through tragedy of all sorts of varieties, and yet they're able to find something beautiful out of it because the challenge they had that day was the strength that they had the next. The example that just popped into my head as I was thinking about this is singer Eric Clapton. Right? If you guys are unfamiliar, Eric Clapton had a young son. He was living in an apartment with a balcony and everything like that, and his son somehow got on the balcony and somehow fell off the balcony and perished. And obviously, the most devastating loss that you can have in your life as a parent is your children passing before you. There is not anything more tragic than that. And obviously, it was a tremendous, tremendous trauma in his life. But from that, he wrote his song, Tears in Heaven. And knowing this story, if you haven't heard the song, look it up, Tears in Heaven. And I guarantee you'll hear the emotion through the song. But more importantly, you'll see exactly how he was able to build strength through that horrible, horrible thing that happened to him. Right? He didn't choose that, obviously. But life gave it to him anyway. And when life did, he had the strength to overcome. Right? And we're never going to choose the tragedy, the challenge, or the trauma that life throws our way. It just is. Right? There's just some things in life that are unavoidable. Right? You're going to have loved ones that fall ill. You're going to. You're going to lose loved ones along your life. You're going to. There will be tragedy. There will be challenge. And the way you handle those moments reflect back all the little challenges that you chose to have along the way. Because Every bit of challenge today is every bit of strength tomorrow. Let's go back to my friend Clay, right? Bodybuilder extraordinaire, as I mentioned. Clay is in the gym all the time. He's training clients all the time, right? And when he's pushing that weight up, it is a challenge to push that weight up or pull that weight up or press that weight up or however you want to think about it. It is a challenge to move that weight. And if he rises to that challenge, if he moves that challenge, gets a little bit stronger. And the next day, that weight gets a little bit easier to move. And the following time, that weight gets a little easier to move. And is he going to see physique gains? Absolutely. Is he going to get stronger? Absolutely. But more importantly, it's an analogy for life. The more he pushes through that challenge that day, the stronger he gets for tomorrow. Right? The more you endure the challenge that you have today, the more you face it front sight focused and full steam ahead. The more that you do that, the more you are prepared for when life challenges you tomorrow. When you are challenged, if you face it that same kind of way and continue to press forward, you'll be amazed at how you can come out the other side. Right? I think of families that I know who went through this, where it was a couple and a spouse fell ill, and they make it through. The spouse does unbelievable, and they get a clean bill of health at the end. I've seen some couples that because of the strength that they had together, because of the way that they faced this challenge head on as a team, they came through it better. There are others where it completely destroyed them. So what we have to remember is every challenge is an opportunity to train ourselves. Every challenge we have today is an opportunity for strength tomorrow. Don't wait for the big ones. Trust me, when those big ones come, you're going to want to be prepared, right? That's why it's so much more important to look at every little daily challenge and look at it as an opportunity to prepare yourself for the what if. What if this? What if that? What if this? Just prepare yourself ahead of time, right? Every challenge you can face from the moment that alarm clock goes off to the moment your head hits the pillow again. Find every opportunity for challenge, because in doing so, you will find the strength necessary to overcome those challenges and build the muscle, build the shoulders necessary to overcome those bigger burdens when life invariably throws them your way, right? As we come to a close here today, guys, don't forget, I want you guys to check out Swing for the Stars Part 2. I'll make sure it's in my link tree so you can find it easily. Also, this Friday, Flex Fights 35, I believe we are up to, Malice in Wonderland, held at the Melrose Ballroom. So make sure you guys get your tickets, flexfights.com. I'm not sure how many are left. You can find the pay-per-view online, throwdownsports.com. I believe the main card will also be on Swerve Sports, but I'm not positive on that. Or Fubo TV, excuse me. Either one, I'm not entirely positive. But more importantly, tune in, support your local fighters, support me. It makes it that much easier. I appreciate it. Other than that, my friends, that is all I have for you guys this week. As always, you can reach me via email, senseileonelli@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook, I'm Sensei James Leonelli. On Twitter and Instagram, I'm at Sensei_Leonelli. You can find my link tree, linktr.ee/Sensei, SENSEI, Leonelli, LEONELLI. Go in there, you'll find everything Flex Fights, everything Tiger Schulman's related, all my social media, Catalina's shirt, Swing for the Stars, you name it, it will be there. Right? Other than that, you can find my school online, tsmasmithtown.com. You can find us on Facebook, we're at facebook.com/Tiger Schulman Smithtown. On Twitter and Instagram, we are at TSMMA_Smithtown. You can find the Tiger Schulman's organization as a whole at tsk.com. Find the podcast on Instagram at Sensei's Weekly Mindset. Make sure that you guys leave a rate and review. It just helps. Make sure that you guys subscribe, get your new episodes every Wednesday. Sponsorship opportunities are still available, so please make sure if you guys are interested in sponsoring the podcast and advertising on here, getting a live read and so forth, contact me any of the ways that I gave out through my link tree, whatever. I'd be happy to work with you. Make sure you guys visit our sponsors on my link tree. Other than that, guys, the most important thing you can do for me, as always, please share the podcast. It's the only form of advertising that I have, so I very much appreciate it when I see you guys do it. Other than that, my friends, until next time, invest in yourselves. I'll see you guys on the mat.